Alan Border shines next on ESPN Classic in the 1981 Ashes. It's day one of the first test.
It's test match history.
Oh, beautiful stroke, beautiful stroke. And he's done it.
Welcome to the highlights of the opening day's play of this first Cornhill test at Trent Bridge between England and Australia. Very gloomy conditions when the two skippers went out to toss, Kim Hughes and Ian Botham. And Hughes, who hasn't had much luck with the toss on this tour, won the toss and put England in. Something of a gamble, that, in the conditions even as they were. Well, it was also a gloomy setup for those of us who believe that spin bowling shouldn't be a dying art in test match cricket, because the selectors of both sides, the England selectors, left out John Embury, the #1 spinner in their team, and the Australian selectors, Kim Hughes, Rodney Marsh and Peter Philpott, well, they left out their only spinner, Raymond Bright. Well, here's Dennis Lillee now coming into bowl from the Radcliffe Road end. The second over, he's bowling to Graham Gooch. Already there's one run on the board. It's a wide bowled by Lillee, and in the commentary box with me is Tom Graveney. Runs off the bat for Graham Gooch, and the outfield's quick enough, even though it's very green. Looks to be in form, Graham Gooch. Two very good strokes to the boundary, one off Lillee, and then that delightful stroke away through mid-wicket. Well, not a movement from umpire David Constant. Graham Gooch made no move. The Australian fielders certainly did, plus the bowler Dennis Lillee. And that one's gone. Gooch this time picked up at first slip by Graham Wood. And the Australians have struck 13 for 1 England. A good delivery that from Dennis Lillee. Just about the first ball he's bowled that has brought the batsman forward. And a very, very good outswinger.
Excellent delivery this, Dennis Lillee. Close into the stumps. Slanted in and it just moves off the wicket.
And that's it. He's gone. Another victim for Wood. And Woolmer is out for naught, and this is a great morning so far for Australia. 13 for 2.
And that man again. Dennis Lillee strikes, and that ball definitely climbs. It's the first ball we've seen really take off, and it bounced high, and I should think it hit very close to the shoulder of Bob Woolmer's bat. And Graham Wood took a very good catch again, high up. And a sad-looking card for England. Gooch, 10, Woolmer, 0, and Lillee striking each time. 13 for 2.
So David Garr coming in at a critical situation. He's pretty used to that by now. It certainly happened a good many times on the recent tour of the Caribbean. Beautiful, effortless stroke. And even the fleet-footed Chappell couldn't catch that one. Well, that was cleverly played by David Garr. Deliberately placed. Well, Jeff Boycott seemed to hear that shout of no ball almost instantaneously, and he certainly put that one away very well indeed, because it cut away quite awkwardly off the seam, but he had it in his sights all the way. And no one will stop that. Certainly not the slips. Beautifully played. So the 50 up in the 17th over and going on to 18. And he's got his first Test wicket. .57 for 3, and the wicket falling just at a moment when England looked as though they were starting to sort things out. And Chappell will never catch that. A half volley really put away off the meat of the bat by David Garr.
I think Dennis is around three-quarter pace at the moment, compared with some of his bursts in Australia last summer. He's gone. Now that's a good catch. Nice anticipation there from Graham Yallop away to his right-hand side.
And David neither did one thing nor the other here. I have a feeling that he half regretted going for the stroke once he'd started it.
Very close together, those slip fielders. Don't look to be giving themselves the normal space between close catches. They're short of Alan Border. And a very good over again from Dennis Lilly. 73 for 4, England. 5 to Gatting, 2 to Willie. Good shot. The outfield's pretty quick here at Trent Bridge. Looks green and lush. And it'll keep the shine on the ball because of that, but it is quite fast. 87 for 4, well, that figure's an unlucky number for some Australian cricketers, but I should think Lilly and Alderman in particular, and Kim Hughes, will think that everything went very well in that first session. Just 4 runs added up to the luncheon break to produce that score of 87 for 4, with Gatting 10 and Willie 10. Just 1 run added after lunch as we pick up play with Dennis Lilly coming into bowl from the Radcliffe Road end. Mike Gatting is taking strike. Tom Graveney is in the box, and with him is Christopher Martin Jenkins.
Oh, it's well played indeed. Yes, he's gone. Another lovely outswinger just leaving the bat. Willie had to play a stroke, and no mistake with the catch. Another fine bit of bowling by Terry Alderman, and England in deeper trouble at 92 for 5. It's always relief off the mark. Right over the top of it, swinging Yorker, and England's captain on his way. And a great bit of bowling again by Alderman, and you can see the disappointment on Botham's face. It can be a cruel game. .96 for 6 then. So Mike Gatting left with a lot to do now, with the tail to protect and the responsibility of trying to make as many runs as he possibly can whilst he's out there. It looks like being a low-scoring match. That'll help. He really hit that well. So the 100 coming up in the 35th over. So Danton off the mark and down at the safe end.
Couple there for Paul Downton. Dennis Lilly having to do the chasing. 3, in fact. A wayward throw. And a good catch again. There at fourth slip is Graham Yallop. And once again it's a wicket falling to a catch in that close cordon behind the stumps. Graham Yallop taking the catch to give Alderman his 4th wicket. What a dream debut for this young West Australian. The man out is Paul Downton for 8. Gatting is 28 not out. Chase that. That's not a bad shot. He was hitting it in the air anyway, down the ground, perhaps through extra cover. The thickish outside edge took it away over point. And I'm sure Graham Dilley's doing exactly the right thing with all the close catches there. If he can get it through or over, it's 4 runs basically every time.
Well, another 4 there. A glorious square cut by Mike Gatting. Now there's his 5th. No, it's not, because there's a man down at square third man. But the 150 up for England in the 51st over. And that could be Dyson, and it does. And there's his 50. Square on the onside, he'll pick up a couple of runs. Enough to take him to a very worthy 50 indeed in these tricky, far from impossible, but tricky batting conditions. And he's out. Going for a pull shot, the ball outside the off stump, not really short enough for the stroke. An extraordinary aberration there by Mike Gatting with the tee so near. And a bottom edge, the thinnest of bottom edges by the look of it. And umpire Constant having no doubt that that was out, caught behind. Well, there's no doubt that he is out, and that England are 159 for 8, and we can see it now, Mike, from a different angle behind Hogg.
As you can see, yes, I think that's LBW.
So a real bonus for Australia just before tea, and Bob Willis coming in at 159 for 8. And he's gone. Marsh diving to his left, making no mistake. Hogg taking 2 wickets in 2 balls, and no doubt at all that that took the edge. Willis just waving it as it went down the leg side, and Marsh falling away to his left to clutch onto the ball. to take him now to only 9 short of Alan Knott's record of Test victims. So Rodney Hogg on a hat-trick, and Hughes has greeted Hendrick with a suitably attacking field, 4 slips and a gully, 2 men in close on the leg side. And here's Hogg to see if he can do it. Saved with consummate ease by Hendrick. Oh, yes. Tremendous blow.
And Graham Dilley has spread the field so far, particularly on the leg side. If he plays forward now and just gets it out onto the edge of the...
Oh, he's not going
as
to
I
that.
was saying, there was a chance of a run too. However, he was intent on continuing the way he'd got his runs, and who can blame him? And over goes the off stump. And 3 wickets for Rodney Hogg. And a fine bowling performance overall by the Australians.
185. Well, I'd have reckoned this is probably, in the first innings, a pitch worth about 230, 240 runs. No more than that, because the ball moved around off the seam an extraordinary amount out there in those 2 sessions of play. Fine bowling from Dennis Lillee. He achieved the breakthrough in the morning. And Alderman, what a performance in his debut Test match. 52 to Mike Gatting, a top score. And Graham Dilley, a very good innings at the end. A good swashbuckling knock from a tail-ender, 34. Boycott was looking good for 27, but 185, and the Australians and their bowlers could be well satisfied with that. Dennis Lillee sparingly used, I thought, towards the end. 13 overs, 3 maidens, 3 for 34. Terry Alderman, a great performance that. 24 overs, 7 maidens, 4 for 68, and Rodney Hogg coming in with 3 for 47. And the 4th pace bowler, Jeff Lawson, went wicketless. He wasn't making his debut. He's played 1 Test match against Pakistan. So the England batsmen had a lot of trouble there against the Australian bowlers. The ball really moved a great deal off the seam, a little bit in the air at the start. But what was going to happen now? Would the England bowlers be able to make similar use of it? Well, here's Graham Dilley now. He's bowling the first over. It's the second ball. Graham Wood is taking strike.
Oh, that must be very close. Absolutely plumb, I'd say. And that was a good swinger, an in-swinger to the left-hander. It might have kept on going after it hit the seam, but it was beautifully pitched. An in-swinger to Graham Wood, and the first wicket goes down without a run on the board. It was a lovely piece of bowling. A couple of in-swingers to the left-handers, and that one swinging away and then continuing on after it hit the seam. Just out of Gatting's reach. Willis is down at deep fine leg. Willis to Dyson. He's got... Nothing will go right for that man. Absolutely dead straightforward catch. And it would have been 3 for 2 wickets. Ian Botham.
Very, very good delivery. Not terribly well played by John Dyson. Slanted in and then left him off the seam. Super delivery. Straight to Ian Botham, and down she went.
There's good running, sensing that it was going to Willis, who is not all that brisk a mover these days.
Oh, yeah. Definitely played at that. Good delivery from Willis again. But Yallop survives. 16 for 1 now. 8 to Yallop and 5 to Dyson. Another race between Willie and Gatting, and they've got a chance of getting 3 here. They'll make it all right. Oh, he's up. Simple little lob up. Woolmer making no mistake with the dolliest of dollies. Great relief for Ian Botham and Bob Willis. And the point being that Botham had missed Dyson earlier on, off Willis, but Willis getting his man in the end. 21 for 2 Australia. Oh.
And this is a beautiful delivery from Mike Hendrick. He draws Graham Yallop forward and leaves him past the outside edge.
Great bit of bowling by Hendrick, the one coming back the other way. And England have got their 3rd wicket, Hendrick his first, and Yallop really nonplussed by some magnificent bowling in this over by Hendrick. 2 previous balls he was close to being out, and that time no doubt about it. 21 for 3. Willis to Hughes, and the captain off the mark.
And Trevor Chappell's off the mark. Bob Woolmer doing the fielding. Trevor Chappell 1, Hughes 2, 24 for 3 wickets. Safe overslips for 4. Little fortunate there, but there've been plenty of those strokes played all day today on this pitch where the ball's moving around so much. 4 to Trevor Chappell. Close, yes, I'm afraid he has to go. The one that darts back from outside the off stump, and that's it for the day, the last over of the day. And congratulations for Bob Willis, Kim Hughes, LBW to Bob Willis, and the reason everyone is crowding around Willis out there is that he has just taken his 200th Test match wicket and joined a very exclusive club. Freddie Truman, Derek Underwood, Brian Statham, Alec Betzer, John Snow, and now Bob Willis. 200 wickets, the average 25, but it's that figure of 200 that makes all the difference to Bob Willis, and he's applauded off the field now, a standing ovation for the man who's done well for so many years, taking the new ball for England. Wood no score, Dyson 5, Yallop 13 and Hughes 7 dismissed from that last ball from Bob Willis. Chappell not out 5 to resume again in the morning with Alan Border. What a disaster for Australia after bowling out England for 185. So I think we can assume that the ball is going to continue to move around off the seam tomorrow, and there's no rest day in this Test match. It could be like one of those matches we played in Australia last year, Australia against New Zealand and Australia against India, where they finished in 3 days and no one needed the rest day. One last word for Bob Willis. If Terry Alderman was the hero of the Australian bowling today, a cheer for Bob Willis, who has played in Test match cricket for 10 years now and has just joined that very, very select band who've taken 200 wickets.
Oh, beautiful stroke, beautiful stroke.